Today I'm going to show you how to make lemony chickpea soup, which is one of my favorite recipes from the past year. It's made with super simple, budget-friendly ingredients, but the flavor is outrageously good. It's creamy and hearty, but not heavy, which means it's the kind of soup you can make all year round. So let's get into it. We're gonna get started with our chickpeas since this is a chickpea soup, and you need 2 cans of chickpeas. We are gonna use them in 2 different ways, so when you drain and rinse them, make sure to keep them separate. And using them in 2 different ways is what makes the soup very fun. I'll show you in a bit what I mean. Now we're gonna move on to preparing our soup base aromatics, which are some pretty classic ingredients. We've got carrots and onions, and some garlic. And I am not someone who likes to have really big pieces of vegetables in my soup. It's just, I don't know, it's not enjoyable. So I'm gonna finely dice the carrots so they kind of melt into the soup. Nice little carrot pile over here. And we're gonna chop up 1 large yellow onion. And we'll finally chop 5 garlic cloves. And the last thing we need to chop up is some fresh dill, a lot of it. This is a lemony chickpea soup, and I think the flavor of lemon plus dill is so good, but if you are not a fan of dill, you could use basil or parsley. We have 1 final ingredient to prep before we start cooking, and that is our long grain white rice. This is gonna naturally thicken the soup, and you really don't need much, just 1/3 cup. You want to get a Dutch oven or large saucepan over medium-high heat. And we're going to add a pretty generous amount of olive oil. It really makes a difference in the mouthfeel and helping to bring out all the flavors in our aromatics. All right, grab your mountain of vegetables. Let's see if this goes in without dropping. And add them to the hot oil. A couple pinches of salt. And you want to let these cook for about 10 minutes to get them nice and soft and a little browned. Basically, the longer you cook aromatics, especially onions, the better they taste. So that's what we're trying to do here. And while those are doing their thing, we'll measure out a few more flavor boosters. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, a 1/2 teaspoon of coriander, and this is gonna kind of enhance the lemony flavors because this is a bit citrusy. Also 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, which will give the soup a really lovely golden, almost orange color, and some red pepper flakes. I want a noticeable kick, so I'm going with a 1/2 teaspoon, but if you want just a little kick, you could do a 1/4 teaspoon, and for my baby mouths, just go ahead and omit it. Looking good. As you can see, our onions are starting to look really nice and a little bit golden. If you see a recipe that tells you to cook onions for 2 minutes, you might as well just not even add the onions. You can't really do anything in 2 minutes. You really wanna sweat them down, get them nice and soft, start to turn golden, and they're gonna be so much more delicious. Get all that garlic in there. Starting to smell good. We are cooking. Stir this frequently so the garlic doesn't burn. Should take about 2 minutes. And the tomato paste spice mixture. Put some elbow grease into it. You really wanna make sure the tomato paste coats everything nicely. If things do start to get a little toasty, go ahead and deglaze with a splash of water or broth. That's a good looking soup base. In goes the rice. You wanna make sure you cook it for like a minute just so it absorbs every bit of delicious flavor that's in the pot. Similar to when you're making risotto and you kind of toast the rice in the butter and the wine and all the goodness before you add the liquid. Now we're gonna grab 1 can of the chickpeas. We'll use the other one in a minute. A little salt and its best friend, pepper. And same thing, toss those chickpeas around so they get all that yummy flavor on them. Next, we're gonna pour in 4 cups of vegetable broth. Store-bought vegetable broth is usually not very good. This is definitely the best brand I have tried. If you wanna use like a vegan bouillon, better than bouillon, plus water, you could also do that. Glug, glug, glug. And we're gonna add 1/2 of the dill now. We'll save some for the end. It's pretty thin now, but the soup is gonna thicken more as the rice cooks. Bring this to a boil, and then you're gonna cover the pan and let it simmer on low for 15 minutes until the rice is tender. And in the meantime, we'll make our chickpea puree, which is what makes this soup super special. As I mentioned earlier, we've reserved 1 can of chickpeas, and we're gonna use them to make a chickpea puree. We're gonna blend it with a few other high impact ingredients, and it's going to thicken the soup and add so much good flavor. You need a 1/2 cup of creamy plant-based milk. This is full-fat oat milk. A barista-style milk will work. A canned light coconut milk also works. You just want to steer clear of anything that's like super thin. And chickpeas. And for the lemony flavor, we're going to zest 1 large lemon. Ooh. household cleaner, but in the best way possible. And add 2 tablespoons of the juice. A juicy lemon is the most satisfying. Season with salt and pepper. And now to add some really lovely savoriness to this, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast and a tablespoon of white miso. If you can't find this for whatever reason, you could try a teaspoon of soy sauce, taste and adjust accordingly, but it should be available at most well-stocked grocery stores. And it's time to blend. By the way, you don't have to use a stand blender. A food processor also works really well. All right, this should be good. It's kind of like a savory hummus.
Savory hummus as opposed to the sweet hummus that you like?
Yeah, I've like seen people do like chocolate hummus. This is the best dessert ever. No, it's not, Diane. A little more lemon. One last thing to prep while the soup finishes, we're gonna chop off just roughly some baby spinach. You could also use baby kale. And this is about 3 ounces, but you could also go up to 4 or 5 ounces if you wanna get more greens in. Let's see what our soup looks like. You can see it's thickened up already and it's gonna get even creamier when we add the chickpea puree. Starting to look good. Add in your baby spinach. Turn up the heat a little bit and just simmer this for a minute or 2 until the spinach wilts. It'll happen pretty quickly. Final finishing touches, we need some more lemon juice just for that super bright and light lemony flavor. It's actually one of the reasons I love this soup is that it's like creamy and rich, but it's so bright and light that you can have it any time of year. I even eat it in summer because it's not like a heavy soup. And the last of our dill, a few cracks of pepper. It's time to serve, but first I need to get something very important. Bread. Cannot have soup without bread. I'm so excited. You can find the full printable recipe in the description box below. And if you want even more soup recipes, check out this playlist. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.